we had our chances, like I said, but it's not only solely dependent on one team. It's obviously a championship caliber opponent that isn't going to lay down and made some tough shots, but also guarded well at the end. And so, as much as we'd like to do better in our own, you got to give them credit for how they stepped up defensively. And, Miami is a team that we went and did it against. And so we've proven we can do it, and being down 2 games, 2 elimination games in Milwaukee. So it's proof that we can do it, and then the opponent is what it is. It's really a lot to do with us, and that's how we feel about the game tonight for sure.
Last question for Coach. On the right side, third row. Left side, third row.
Ime, I know you're not as concerned with the defense, but the big men just around some of those screens, they're playing low sometimes. Do you think you need to adjust that at all, just based off the shots Curry's getting right now?
Yeah, we have, and it's not, it's not a stagnant offense that they run, and where they're just sitting back and obviously have some movement prior to it and some off-ball actions that, get our guys off the big some. So we do want to be up much more. And at times, especially on the handbacks and certain actions, it's a little different than a regular static pick and roll.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
First question for Clay. We'll go to Marcus in the back.
Marcus Thompson, The Athletic. Clay, have you seen Steph play with or show that amount of emotion before? And what did you see from how he took over this game?
I think I have seen him show that much emotion, and the heart on that man is incredible. The things he does, we kind of take for granted from time to time, but to go out there and put us on his back, and I mean, we got to help him out on Monday. So wow, just showed why he is shocking. He wasn't a first team All-NBA guy, but whatever. Next year.
Another question in the back.
Hi, Tal from Haaretz newspaper in Israel. Marcus Smart made a huge three-point shot on the buzzer in the fourth quarter, and then you responded with three-pointer, Steph as well. Can you take me back to these moments? What made you change the game like that?
I got some great looks all night, and come playoff time, especially in the finals, it's hard to get good looks. Teams are going to blanket us. So when you get that little, space, you got to let it fly. Been in this league too long to ever doubt myself, especially in the highest pressurized moments. You just got to let that thing go and trust your work, trust your touch. And luckily I made them when they counted. Still thinking about that one I missed on the left wing. Great pass from Andrew, but luckily I got Draymond who made an incredible rebound, and I'll make it on Monday.
From Kendra here up front.
Kendra Andrews, ESPN. You said sometimes maybe you take what Steph does for granted. You've played a lot of finals games next to him. Where would you kind of put this in his finals performance resume?
Yeah, I think probably number one. I mean, this was nearly a must-win game, and to go out there and shoot as efficiently as he did, and grab 10 rebounds, and they're attacking him on defense. I mean, his conditioning is second to none in this league. So Steph played incredible.
Sam in the back.
Sam Amick, The Athletic. Clay, you mentioned that you guys need to help Steph on Monday, and I wonder, as this game goes on and he's on fire, he keeps going. What is going through your head, not just for you, but as Jordan tries to find his rhythm, Wiggs, is there conversation about that? Like, we got to help him here?
Not really. Just stay shot ready, and when a guy's on a roll like that, you just get out of his way, space the floor, and be ready to shoot if the ball finds you. So we've all played in this league for a long time, except for JP, that we know that the ball will find you if you just continue to do the little things. That's play defense, box out, and just be resilient.
Anthony on the right.
What did kind of the other guys give you tonight? Poole, Wiggins, and Loon?
Well, Loon was a plus 21. His rebounding was incredible. I mean, Andrew, double-double, like 17 and 16, and the defense he played on Tatum. And then JP, wow, like the poise he's been playing with as a 22-year-old throughout these whole playoffs is just amazing. And I go down the line, you know, GP, it's so good to have him back. He's always been a special performer. And then Draymond, who might not have had his best game, but made huge plays there at the end, huge rebounds and huge stops. And it doesn't matter how you shoot the ball, what your numbers say. And the only thing that really matters right now is getting that win. And Steve always reminds us that it doesn't matter who plays. As long as you win the series in the long run, no one's going to talk about your individual performance as much.
Last couple of questions for Clay. We'll go with Vince on the left.
Vince Gilboa, Yahoo Sports. Clay, early in the fourth quarter, I think Jaylen Brown had a couple of runouts. You guys had a couple of turnovers. You took a timeout. You're down 4. It looked like the game was starting to get away from you, and you guys were grouped. What happened over the course of that next 5 or 6 minutes?
We just play great defense, and when we do that, our offense is so great, and we got so many great scorers that the ball's eventually going to find the bottom of the net. So it was just a gutsy win. That was a ton of fun, believe it or not, no matter how queasy the fans might get or emotional they might get. It was to be out there and competing at this stage, like, wow, I can't believe I'm here, especially considering where I was at this time last year. I wasn't even jogging yet, and now I'm out here just battling in the finals. This is great. I'm going to enjoy the heck out of these next couple games or 3 games, whatever it's going to be.
Last question on the left to Malika.
Malika Andrews, ESPN. As you're out there and enjoying it, bouncing back after a loss hasn't plagued you guys in this series, in these playoffs, but continuing to string together wins after a win, that's been a little bit more difficult. What is it that you need to bottle up, to cling to embrace in order to do that?
Well, we have reestablished home court again. We can't look ahead. We got to play with that same force in the fourth quarter that we did. Bring that Monday, and it's going to be rocking there in Chase Center. I can't wait to see our fans. I know they're excited. I know it was rocking in there tonight. So we can't look ahead. Just be present and embrace your off day, but then get some good work Sunday, and then when Monday comes, just live in the moment, because you don't do yourself any good if you're looking ahead to game 6 or 7 or a championship. You just got to embrace these moments. It's special to be one of the last 2 teams playing, and I know we're all going to bring it Monday. We're so excited. This was a special night for Dub Nation.
Thanks, Clay.
No problem.
First question for Jordan. Start up here.
Hey, Jordan. Shaney on Ford Sports. Clay was just saying the poise you've been playing with as a 22-year-old in these playoffs has been amazing. What does it mean for you to have all the veterans have that confidence in you to come out there and make plays like that?
It feels amazing being able just to have the players, the staff allow me to just go out there and play my game and trust that I'm going to put my teammates in the best position, in the best position for us to win. But credit to them too, just because I'm asking so many questions and they're giving me answers and it's translating. So, I'm thankful to be in a position with these guys and learn as much as I can.
Monty on the left.
Jordan, aside from the 43 and 10, what do you think of Steph's performance and impact tonight?
It's huge. We wouldn't have won without him. And I don't even know if you can say besides 43 and 10, because 43 and 10 is crazy, especially in the NBA Finals. So he's our leader, and that's what he does. So huge game by him, and we needed that.
Question from Anthony in the back.
What do you think allowed you to be more effective offensively tonight?
I was just being more aggressive, looking for my shot more. Was trying to find a balance between getting other guys easy looks, because I know that they were paying a lot of attention to me and I was drawing a lot of attention. But tonight, just going out there, being more aggressive, and then taking the shots that the defense gives me.
Tim, back left.
Yeah, Tim Calcom, The Athletic. What was it like going kind of offense, defense with Draymond subbing in, subbing out, and yet being able to maintain some success while you're doing it? Was it easy to get in that kind of rhythm? Was it tough?
It was later in the game. the last couple minutes or so, 3 minutes, I think. So just being prepared, staying ready. Good decision by the coaches. We trust the decisions that they make. So being able to have the talent to do the offense defense thing and for it to work was huge for us.
Another question on the left.
Hey, Jordan, Charlotte Wilder, Fox Sports. You said that you're asking so many questions and your teammates are translating for you. What do you think is the biggest thing that they've imparted to you, given their experience? And what do you think is your most important question to them?
Like on the court or just in general?
Yeah, or about the whole experiences emotionally too.
There are a lot of different adjustments, and the details are pretty important. So tendencies, I think, are huge. Being able to lock in as much as possible and really try to know your opponent to the T, and also being able to ask the guys when I'm not in the game what they see when I'm out there, just because you're looking at it from a different perspective. So being able to have Andre Loon, Steph, Clay, Draymond just tell me how they're guarding or how they're chasing or what they see is open. So being able to come over, look at that on the film, and apply that to the game, along with a lot of other things, is huge.
Any final questions for Jordan? Sam, we'll go to you.
You're almost out of here, brother. Sam Amick, The Athletic. Clay mentioned that on Monday you guys need to get Steph a little bit more help. And you've seen plenty of huge games from him, but I wonder on this stage, with as well as he was playing, do you find yourself on the court reacting at all the, how great he is, and then also telling yourself, like, we've got to find a way to get him some help here?
I've been thinking that every time I step out on the court, just because he's a spectacular player and he does amazing stuff all the time. So, especially how dominant Clay, Wiggs, and being able just to throw myself in there to try to give him help by still being aggressive, but also still playing off of him is something that I think makes it special. And when all three of us, aside from Clay's being aggressive, I feel like we're a pretty hard team to stop. So when we're able to make shots, it makes it easier for him to get it going and continue to keep going, because we're just a threat off the ball as well.
Thanks, Jordan.
Okay.
Yo.
Brandon, you're muted. You're muted, bro. I was like, when's this guy going to talk, man? You got to be pumped up for this W,
right.
baby. In
What's
Boston.
up, fellas? Welcome to another episode Locked In GSW Podcast. I'm Brandon Fernier. Joined by me is my co-host, Chris. Oh, shit. Jordan Medeiros.
Whoa.
Oh,
man. All right. See you guys.
Wait. What was that about? What were you excited about?
I think he was about to say I'm the co-host now.
Okay.
Sorry, Jordan.
Okay. Anyways.
What do you think about the other podcast?
We got some special guests in the house. We got Corey, Mr. Sports Fanatic himself. We got our guy TJ. We got our guy Chris Polo. We got our guy 49er Minded, Mr. Bashar. And we got our guy Ward. How we doing, fellas?
Wonderful.
Great. Thanks for having us, man.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Hey, we should give the new guys the floor, man, since it's their first time. Well, especially Ward's first time. I love to hear what they have to say right off the bat.
Thank you guys for
let me.
me.
Yeah, no problem.
What a great gutsy win by the boys tonight. Excited to get back to San Francisco and see what Game 5 looks like. Excited to see if Kerr has learned about the rotation. I think less Draymond, spot minutes of Clay. I don't think the Otto Porter Jr. Wrinkle worked the way that he thought he did. Otto really didn't get off. I think he'll play better at home. And like I said, would like to see a lot more of Gary Payton. I thought he had some really good crunch time, like high leverage minutes. But we got to figure out a way to stop more dribble penetration. I mean, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, when they get to that right hand and they get going downhill, it's really tough. It'd be nice to have some more rim protection. So Kerr and the coaching staff, they got a lot of work to do. I don't know if we can expect Steph to go Super Saiyan like this again. I mean, great Hall of Fame performance by the chef, but definitely some things I think we definitely need to tighten up as far as allowing easy buckets and letting them just kind of control the paint like that.
Thank you, Warren.
D Sizzle, what's going on, man? Yes, sir. Let's go. And yes, let's Dre when we need
Dre
to
needs to
score.
score. Yeah.
Yep.
Big facts.
Let's hear from you, TJ. What are your thoughts on tonight's game and how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. Like the gentleman said, Curry had an all-star performance. He put the team upon his back and pretty much willed us to a win. Curry's going to have to tweak the rotation to and try to find something that's just going to play consistently. Definitely more Gary Payton Jr. If you noticed, he disrupted their offense by themselves. There was one play where they just kept passing the ball back and forth amongst themselves, Derek White and Marcus Smart, because they didn't want to let Gary Payton guard. So, definitely need more of that just to disrupt their offense, disrupt their ball movement. I don't know. Maybe they should try the death lineup or something. Go 3 guards for a little bit in the first quarter just to get, because Jordan Poole is not having a good game either. He had a better game this game, but he hasn't played up to his potential that he's been playing on the playoffs. So maybe get him started a little bit better. Maybe get Clay a little bit more early looks. Clay did an excellent job this game. As always, he wasn't scared to shoot. But once again, though, Curry just willed us to this win, and that's not a good way to win. Eventually they're going to start blitzing Curry and trying to double team him at the 3-point line to get the ball out of his hands. And somebody got to step up and be a little bit, be reliable from a scoring aspect. Now, don't get me wrong. Wiggins did his thing. What was it, 17 rebounds and 17 points or 18 points? That's unreal, plus lockdown defense. But we need that consistent second score. And you really can't put your finger on it in this series. Like somebody that you can count on. And I'm not worried about Draymond. He's going to shake this off, get back in there, redeem himself, we got to get this, protect the home court and go ahead and finish this out.
That's right, TJ.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Draymond Green, he had another disappointing game. I know Chris wanted to touch base on this, so
Yeah.
let's
What's going
hear
on?
from you, Chris.
What's going on with Draymond, Chris?
I think that the best thing they did was pull him this entire series. You can't even play him anymore. I'm sorry. I never thought I would say that. Yes, he's going to start games. He shouldn't have played as much as he did today. He's detrimental to the team now. I never thought I would ever say that as a Warriors fan, but what is he delivering for the Warriors right now that's actually propelling them in this series? Because when I look at Draymond Green, he's playing soft. He was better on the boards today, but offensively, every time the dude takes a shot, it feels like a turnover. It just feels useless. I don't even care about him putting up points at this point. So if I don't care about him putting up points, and clearly the team is heavily relying on Steph Curry, which they probably should. You just got to start everything with him because they have no answer for Steph Curry the whole series, and you got to get Clay the ball. Why should I even want Draymond Green to be in the game when they got to score? I really loved that lineup later in the game with Steph, Poole, Clay, Wiggins at the 4, and then Looney playing center. Last game, when I came on here, I said the thing that confused me the most was Kevon Looney only played 16 minutes, and that's why they lost on the glass. Kevon Looney tonight played 28 minutes. And Steve Kerr actually said in his post-game presser that he did not play Kevon Looney enough in Game 3. And they won the glass tonight by 13 rebounds. Steph also pitched in. Wiggins pitched in 16 rebounds. So they clearly had a much bigger emphasis in attacking the glass tonight. But the problem is when Draymond's out there, and you have to have Looney out there, right? Because you have to win the glass, you need to be physical. So if he's out there with Draymond, offensively, Steph, Clay, and Wiggins is just not enough when you're playing this good defensive team. I think that you could actually make the Celtics try to shoot themselves out of the game, and that's what we kind of saw them do in the fourth quarter. It's kind of like the Celtics' fourth quarter here was like the opposite of their fourth quarter in Game 1. When they're going to the basket, that's when things start to break down because that drive and kick is really, really lethal. But Draymond Green being in there, if he's not even providing them the elite level defense, because he's really not, I don't see him playing the level of defense that he was playing the first half of the year. If he's not providing that, and you know he's not a threat offensively, there's no way that playing Jordan Poole is going to make you any worse. Yeah, it makes you smaller, but if Kevon Looney's the main guy trying to get boards for you and Andrew Wiggins is capable of getting 16 hustle rebounds, I think you can live with that. Because at the end of the day, we can say, okay, Draymond Green should bounce back, but this is 4 games into the series. This dude has not looked good. Game 2, he looked much better. But, I mean, after game 1, he goes on his podcast and says, I played terrible. And then game 3, he goes on his podcast and says, I played soft and I played like shit. And then game 4, I don't know what he's going to say tonight. And Mark Jackson's probably right. He's probably going to say tonight, I would have pulled me too if I was Steve Kerr. He's probably going to say something like that. I don't want to keep banking on a guy like that, because what's a huge red flag to me, if you're recognizing yourself, I'm playing soft, I'm playing bad, fix it, because it's a mental thing. Don't just tell me on your podcast after every single game in the NBA Finals that you're playing like shit. Fix it, dude. We're 4 games in. You're in a best-of-3 series. I can't rely on you because I know you can't shoot already. You can't even make a layup at the basket.
No, I can't.
I know you're going to have some bad turnovers. You're bound to have some horrible turnovers. And if you're not defending, why the hell do I need to put you out there? Jordan Poole at least allows me to kind of space the floor a little bit, have another ball handler, and possibly open things up more for Steph and Klay and just give them another score on top of Wiggins being out there with them. I don't need to see Draymond out there as much. Yes, he should start, but the leash has got to be short. It's got to be a quick thing. Like the second he starts looking bad and you're starting to fall behind and Boston's getting on a run, you got to pull him. That's the point I'm at in this series. There's only 3 games left, maximum.
So let's talk about it. Corey, what did you think about the lineup? Because I know I talked about it last time. Would you guys change the lineup? And they actually did. So what did you think, Corey?
I think it was an interesting change when I saw it about 15, 20 minutes before tip. I liked it. I think you have someone in Porter who's obviously a lot quicker than a guy like Looney. Looney needs to get his 25 to 30 minutes a night just because he's so impactful, especially on the boards. He can get the putbacks and things like that. I'm actually even okay. I think they're going to end up starting Draymond going forward, but like Chris said, I agree with. I think he has to be on a short leash, and then I would bring him back in maybe in short spurts like you would with a 7th or 8th man. Just come in 4 or 5 minutes and just see if he can kind of turn around. His defense is still elite, and so I don't want to completely shut that down. But Porter, I think, is holding his own. I have to look at the stats again of what exactly he did. He didn't hit those corner threes tonight. I think they got a little too trigger happy from the outside, especially when you get a defender up in the air, stop, drive the baseline, or just drive down with nobody protecting the rim and just get an easy layup or a dunk. They're 43 3-pointers is just too many, especially when they're only hitting it at a 40% rate or whatever. It wasn't even 40%. It was 30-something percent. I'd like to see more GP2. I think he is very vital for this. But as I think I was mentioning to Brandon before we went on, Game 5 I think is going to be it. I think whoever wins Game 5 is going to end up winning this series. So props to Boston. They came out firing. They kind of stuck to the game plan. Robert Williams III is an absolute monster. We have to figure out how to sustain him because he's still working on a bad wheel, and he's still putting up numbers more than what I feel like he should be with a bad foot or ankle. So just play your game. You're going to have the home crowd behind you come Monday. And get this win and come back to Boston next Thursday and try to seal this. But very gritty, gutty win, and very pleased of the finish. They didn't allow Boston to run up to an 18-point lead either. They kept it. I think the largest lead for Boston was only 7. But just keep doing what you're doing. Turnovers need to come down a little bit. But be more aggressive and try to get Boston into foul trouble like you did in Game 2. I think that will be very important going forward. Jaylen Brown, I thought, played really soft tonight. I think he ended up throwing up a lot of prayers that just happened to go in. And he's too much of a flopper for me to really respect. He just goes in and he gets hit with some contact and he flops like a soccer player, like, oh, he hit me and I should get the foul and go to the free throw line or whatever. But all in all, I thought it was a very gritty, gutty performance, and I'm hoping to see a lot more of that come Monday in Game 5.
So, for sure. So, Bashar, what did you think of the foul calls tonight?
Well, you should give that question to Corey, man. Corey would do a much better job of answering that question.
I leave it to you, Bashar. I leave it to you.
Oh, man. When I'm done with it, you can feel free to pick up on it. Yeah, I hated it. What else can I say? I mean, I was just looking up the stats, actually, of the box score, see who had more fouls. And we had more fouls. We had 21 fouls. They had 17. But just, you know how Curry's always getting murdered. And did you see how irate he was in that 1 3-pointer? He made it. It was great for him to make it. It was great that we won. But, who knows if we had lost by 1 point or whatever. And he was livid,
he got
though.
fouled
He was
on the
livid.
one before, too. I think he also got fouled on the one before that.
There was
Probably
2 3-point shots he made that he was fouled on, and they didn't call it.
Oh, yeah. And, yeah, I mean, and as far as what Corey was saying about the rotation, I was also just pulling up the box score, and I saw did not play DMP, coach's decision. Andre Iguodala, Kuminga, my guy, Damian Lee, Moses Moody. Love to have seen either Iguodala, Kuminga, or Moody out there. I think one of them could have helped us possibly increase the lead a little bit earlier. Nail-biting game, crazy, stressful game. I mean, I was telling myself we were losing in the fourth quarter. You guys mentioned Draymond. Draymond woke up at some point in the fourth quarter and helped us, so...
Yes,
I'm not gonna shit on him too hard. He did his job when it counted. So it was gritty, just like Corey says. Corey, talk about the refs.
Hold on. I don't think you're going to see Kuminga or Moody in pressure situations at all for this series. I still think they're still a little too young, a little too inexperienced. Poole is getting the minutes that he is because of what he's shown in the regular season. He's still kind of playing in that sort of tentative mode. I'm looking at the stats, and I actually wrote down the stats at halftime, just the team stats. The Warriors had 17 fouls in the first half.
Yep.
So they didn't foul hardly at all. You said 21, I think, was the total. 4 fouls in the – I mean, that seems off for one reason or another. I think they would have had more than 4 fouls in an entire second half. But it is what it is. What I was complaining about at halftime, and it shrunk a little bit. Usually, when it seems like one team is getting the majority of the calls or whatever, the Warriors only had 9 free throws in the first half compared to Boston's 18, and it was 17 fouls to 13 at halftime. Now, obviously, the free throws they're late. Curry ends up taking 4 more there at the end, but that just goes back to my point. They got to be a little bit more aggressive instead of just relying on threes. You're not going to end up getting a lot of those calls. Curry easily got fouled on that second 3 in the first half there, where Tatum came in and bumped him. That should have been a foul. The 3, I think, the possession before where White was in his face was probably the most impossible 3-pointer I think I've ever seen Curry actually make in a very, very long time. He actually avoided the contact. If you go back and watch the White one, there was no foul there. But the one after that with Jason Tatum was clearly a foul. Tatum should have fouled out a handful of times tonight. I think they gave him a lot of leeway. And then I was talking to TJ there before we had jumped on. To me, it just seems like they're allowing Marcus Smart to play as aggressive on the defensive side as anyone, where he's going in, he's hacking, he's doing all of these other things that Curry does or Thompson does or GP2 does, and it's an automatic foul. So I think that there was some questionable calls there, but I think there was a couple calls that went our way as well. So you can't really look at the referees and say this or that, but there was definitely some questionable calls there. Who was it? Was it White? Or it was I think it was White or maybe Jaylen Brown, who took 5 steps before he ends up putting the ball up. And
I saw that.
Shot, but gets the foul. And I can't remember if it was White or somebody else, but it was
on Jordan Poole too.
4. Yeah, it was on Poole. It was in the first half. and I got up and was about ready to throw the remote and break it, because I understand you can give them that third step, the Euro step, whatever, 5 steps and no whistle.
And then Steve
travel 100 out of 100 times. It just makes no sense.
And then Steve Kerr gets the technical because he was telling them that was a travel. Like, come on, that's bullshit.
That was the exact play where Kerr got the one and only technical of the game. But all in all, just like I said, just way to close it out in the fourth quarter. I think they were down 4 going into halftime. They got that third quarter going again, and they didn't let Boston go on one of those runs that we weren't going to be able to dig ourselves out of. So really powerful performance, proving that we are an NBA Finals worthy team. And we just need 2 more here, and we'll hopefully be able to get 2 more games here at home.
I think
for the remainder.
I think the frustrating part when it comes to the calls is you see one team, like both teams are driving to the basket, but Steph Curry's getting called for like offensive fouls, or you see like the Kevon Looney illegal screen in the beginning of the game. I was saying, I said earlier, like in the middle of the game, like I think Steph Curry could run a pick and roll, get punched in the face, and they would call an illegal screen. Like that's just how it felt like the rest of this game. It was just kind of ridiculous. But kind of going back to the rotation thing really quickly. So I just want to throw this out there. We could easily give Kuminga minutes, and the minutes I'm looking at are like the 9 minutes that Bjelica played for some reason. Why the hell is that dude on the field for 9 minutes?
Whoa! I was going to ask you that.
Listen, Bjelica.
What up, Ward?
No Bjelica slander tonight, bro.
Hold on, Bjelica goes out there for 9 minutes.
He got
to
lucky
score.
on a steal, but he's a liability right now.
He's not going to defend anybody. He's not scoring. I don't understand what the point of having him out there is when Jonathan Kuminga can give you more athleticism, more physicality, can get on the glass for you. And he can attack. He can attack the basket. He's someone who's actually a threat. Bjelica is only going to be standing at the 3-point line, hoping to get a wide open shot, and the one he got was a miss.
We are lucky that Tatum did not go off on him. He should have attacked. He settled for the step back shot.
I think Bjelica is a very underrated defender.
Thank you, but Bjelica's been switched on Tatum multiple times in the last 2 games and got nothing.
Well,
so
Jason Tatum.
That was by luck.
But that's on
luck.
That's on Jason Tatum not being aggressive, because there were 2 possessions he could have gone right at him and he just passes out of it. There's no way Bjelica is going to be a good option.
And there were 3 possessions last game he could have went at him, but he doesn't go at him.
That doesn't matter. I could pull up his numbers right now. In 9 minutes in an NBA Finals game, he's not doing anything to actually show you that he's impacting the game.
He went
passing the ball and he's setting good
screens. There were
screens
modes in Jason Tatum's place.
But you can get that out of somebody else. That's my point. He played 9 minutes. He
Kuminga
went 0 for 2. He had -4. He was not doing anything.
He didn't do anything.
Like you can put Kuminga out there and get more effort, more rebounds out of him, more athleticism. You can get up and down the floor, and more perimeter defense that can switch onto anybody. I don't understand why they're playing Bjelica. It just doesn't make any damn sense to me. I did not like Otto Porter starting. I think it actually kind of threw off his rhythm, if anything, and it just didn't really do anything. I don't see how that made them better. Because Kevon Looney played double his minutes almost anyways, so it just made no sense. And Draymond Green his plus minus today was 0. He had the lowest plus minus in the starting lineup other than Otto Porter, even though he only played 14 and a half minutes. But Kevon Looney was plus 21. That's why, like in those crunch time minutes, I think I'd rather have Kevon Looney out there to let Andrew Wiggins and Poole go out there together to be other secondary scoring options aside from Steph and Clay, just because if this team is that good defensively and you put Draymond and Looney out there at the same time, you're playing 2-on-5. Sometimes if Wiggins is on, you're playing 3-on-5, and it's just not going to work. Draymond Green's plus minus this entire series is -7. I don't know how confident I am in that dude if Kevon Looney's on the floor. I just don't see it. And then if you put Bjelica out there for 9 minutes, you can give that to Kuminga. You can even give it to Moses Moody if you want to, because he's athletic and can space the floor and can kind of be a 3-and-D guy if you want to. You're just so athletically just hurting yourself by playing Bjelica. Like they're getting very lucky, like Dave was saying. It's very lucky.
I would rather see. I mean, obviously they don't trust Kuminga, right? Because I seen him at the game in Denver, right? I live in Denver now, and I went to the game. He was literally 2 steps faster than anybody on the court. Like his athleticism is just really a cut above. So we're not putting enough pressure on the rim. So I agree with you. We need to get. I would like to see him now. I'm not going to dump on Bielitsa because one thing about him, he has held his own defensively. He makes the right reads, and he just seems to kind of settle the team a little bit, right? So, but I think if Kuminga can not blow his defensive assignments, that he would definitely provide more, right? Because he brings another presence to put pressure on the rim, and that's what we need when we're going in those scoring. Yeah, when we're going to those scoring lows where our outside shot is not falling, we don't have anybody that can drive in and get a foul. You know what I mean? They're all scared of Robert Williams, and he can out-jump Robert Williams. So I think that would definitely be something that they should consider, like you, to change up the rhythm of the game.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. So he had that still, right? That was an easy 2 points right there, man. If that was Kuminga, that's an easy bucket.
And then he turned over the inbound pass.
Yeah, yes. And then he turned over the inbound pass. You don't see that, bro. Like, come on.
We gotta show some love to Super Dave, the OG, and who joined us. He's from Real Talk Niner Talk. We'd love to hear you talk about what you thought about the game, and then we got D Sizzle from Real Talk Niner Talk to join us because we haven't heard you guys really say too much yet. So it'd be nice to hear you guys' point on the game.
Just from a defensive standpoint, I would have Kuminga in over Bielitsa. I mean, game 3, we were getting killed. They were getting second chance points, secondary rebounds, and our guys were dead. We definitely stepped it up tonight. I think the rebound advantage was plus 13. I thought we would turn it up defensively tonight, and that was key, especially in game 4. I thought if we lost tonight, I didn't see a way back for us in game 5.
Same here, bro. I was losing hope.
Yep. I totally agree.
What's up, D Sizzle? You got anything to say about the game?
Sizzle.
I don't know if he's hearing us. I think he's caught in the Matrix. I think he's caught in the Matrix.
Yeah. No, but like with Kuminga being out there too, it just allows them to keep pushing the pace. Now, the thing is, I think they kind of played a lot. They played a lot of half courts. They didn't have that many fast break points anyways, but that's something that I want them to change. Like I want them to be able to speed up the pace. Now, Boston can play fast, but the Warriors are just going to play better in a game that is up tempo. Bielitsa being out there, I think completely goes against the type of physical matchups you're dealing with in this entire series. We could say, okay, he's held his own defensively. I would say that's a mistake on Boston not attacking him more. There were a couple possessions where Jason Tatum, I think, turned the ball over twice because he just decided to pass out of it on a drive and kick when he had Bielitsa. And I've seen Jason Tatum do that a few times in the series. Sometimes he even had Steph Curry on him earlier in the series, and he just wasn't challenging him. So I think that's more on Boston more than it is Bielitsa locking anybody down defensively. I don't think he's really doing anything defensively, in all honesty. I think Boston's just kind of making things more difficult for themselves because that's what this team does. That's why they also turn the ball over just as much as the Warriors do. So I don't really want to risk that going into like now a best of 3. I know Kuminga, like personally, I don't trust him in the pressure moments either. And I know he's not necessarily a great shooter. I just think that from a hustle standpoint, he's going to give you more things that Bielitsa could ever physically give you that could just help you over the course of a game. And it doesn't have to be that many minutes. Like I think in game, I think he really only played like 4 minutes or something like that in the last game. It wasn't a lot. So if he gets like 5 to 10 minutes, like someone in the chat was saying, that's all you need. It's just relief minutes for Looney and Draymond and whoever's playing at center. That's all it is. I just think you'll have higher potential for more impactful minutes than putting Bielitsa out there to just be a body.
All right, so let me ask you guys this. What do you guys think about the whole switcheroo they did in the fourth quarter from defense to offense? They brought in Draymond, right? And then when they switched to offense, they took him out, brought in Jordan Poole. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
I love that.
I thought that's some of Kerr's best adjustments in this series because Jordan Poole on offense allows us to not be Steph-centric, right? And allow them to just focus in and trap. You can see I think there was about 2 minutes left, and Steph deferred to JP just to push the ball up the court, just to give Steph that breather. You know, we've always been best when Steph's off the ball, running off actions, running off a screen. So that's, I think, the best way to utilize Draymond is more situational, because offensively, it's not even the fact that he's not trying to score. He's overthinking. He passed up layups tonight. He overthought and passed up layup opportunities that led to turnovers or led to poor shots. And I'd rather just have a guy like JP who can pull, or, you know, I don't think this is a Kuminga versus Bielitsa. I really think the sweet spot is Moody. I think Moody is a guy that can hit a corner three, can switch defensively. I'm getting sick of seeing Marcus Smart hit buckets. I'm getting sick of seeing the kid White hit buckets.
I knew Marcus Smart wouldn't
We all
keep
get
going
sick of
with
making
that.
Marcus Smart.
And so I think if we're going to do more offensive defense, I think Moody over Kuminga, or I think Iguodala's done. I think Iggy's washed.
Yeah,
he can be at the parade. You know,
Tired.
I think Iggy's washed, but I think it's Moody next guy up. If Otto Porter gave us 2 free throws, he had good looks. So I think starting Otto just to try to spread them out and space them out might work again. But I thought that was Kerr's best adjustment. I mean, offense, defense, limit Dre, give Jordan Poole a highlighted role, and I think that was the win right there. I think that was it right there when he decided to go to that maneuver late.
I got a question for you guys, though. Where would you guys rank this game in terms of Steph Curry's career playoff games? I mean, top 3, top 5, or the best?
This
the
is
best?
the best one.
I think this is the best one. I think this is
Easily his best one.
Well, this was the Steph Curry show, and this game alone basically solidified his MVP if they win
Yes.
the series.
There's
I think win or lose, he has to get it after this game.
There's like game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, but it wasn't the finals. There's like game 5 of 2015 when he lit it up. But this on the road in Boston, they were getting beat up really this entire series. If they don't win this, they're down 3-1. This is easily his biggest playoff game.
He also had a double-double.
Double-double, yeah.
10 rebounds, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Excellent rebounds.
And not to mention he's averaging 30 points for the series.
Has he scored less than 30 in a game yet in 4 games?
I think 29 in game 2.
They set him out with 29.
Yeah.
And the only guys in that age range to score 40 points were right now are MJ, LeBron, and
Well, he
Curry,
would have
right?
more if he got the foul calls. So
Yeah, I was saying after the game, like if he got the foul calls, he's dropping 50 tonight.
I think it was actually fair as far as the foul calls, because we didn't get a lot of foul calls. Boston got a lot of no calls as well. I remember there was a sequence where I think Jaylen Brown had 2 inside rebounds, got hammered, and nothing was called. It looked like they were just letting him play tonight. I'm sure that's going to change in the next couple games, though.
correct me if I'm wrong, but in the fourth quarter, were they playing more man-to-man?
I think the whole second half, I think they switched over to man-to-man. I noticed that more. I think that's how you have to play. They weren't getting the open looks from the outside. As I've been mentioning, was mentioning, I think after game 3, you go zone. They start moving the ball because they move the ball more than anybody other than maybe us. Those shots are going to be open, uncontested. You're stuck. So go to man-to-man. There's going to be switches and stuff, but the Warriors are so deep on the defensive side, it almost doesn't matter who's guarding who. You have Gary Payton at 6 foot. He can guard 1 through 5. You have Wiggins. He's proven that he can guard anyone on the court. Klay Thompson, yes, his lateral movement isn't quite what it was, but he locked down on the defense tonight. Yeah. It's a collective unit. Obviously, Draymond, when he's out there, he can lock you down as well. It's a collective unit. It's one of those things that Boston shouldn't have. The offensive rebounds kind of pissed me off a little bit. Robert Williams was just having a field day down there a little bit. But Looney came up with some monster rebounds, extending possessions, and getting outlet pass. But I did like the pace. It was a little faster. I'd like them to push it even more come game 5 and really just try to tire this Boston team out throughout the game.
And really, really quickly back to the Steph Curry thing. I was just looking it up because I was curious because you guys were talking about how much he's averaging. So he's averaging almost 34.5 points, almost 6.5 rebounds.
Yeah, he's your MVP, no question. If they win,
but get this,
He
he's
literally
doing it.
carried us on his back tonight.
But he's
Oh,
doing it shooting 50% overall, 49% from three, and about 86% from the free throw line. So if he gets some more free throws and keeps this up, he is almost averaging 34 on 50-50-90 splits.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
That's unreal.
That's sick.
Yeah, I
He's gonna have a
think.
big game next one.
Against
Yeah.
the defense that swept Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We also got to give credit to Wiggins. He had a double-double too.
Yes,
17 points, 16 rebounds.
16 rebounds, dude. I
Now,
was just going to bring that
his
up.
rebounding was critical.
I was just going to bring that up.
Okay. go ahead.
He was really fighting on the board tonight, and that's what we missed these past 3 games. To be honest with you, we needed that for sure. And with that adjustment, it helped the Warriors win this game.
I was talking about this with someone else earlier today. And what Andrew Wiggins is doing, like right now, he is the role player that kind of higher than a role player, I guess. But he's the guy that Harrison Barnes was supposed to be for this team.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
He is that exact player, and he's playing it perfectly. Like he doesn't need to light up the scoreboard, but the hustle plays, playing good defense, and he does score when he needs to and get some hustle
Packs it
points
back.
too. Just with those
lockdown
offensive rebounds.
defense. No one's scoring on him when they're in isolation. They're having to dish out or getting screens for a pick and pop or something else. That Wiggins is about as good of a lockdown defender as we have on this team right now. Him, obviously, Gary Payton. I'd like to just see more of Gary Payton.
More
like
GP2.
Get a few more. Yeah, GP2. Just more minutes because I think defensively he's just as good as anyone on the floor. Boston they need to figure out how to solve Curry and even put a triple team him just to make sure that he can't get a shot off because that guy was hitting ridiculous threes tonight than I've seen in a long time.
They keep giving him so much space.
10
Lots
plus.
of screens.
Yeah,
I don't know why the big men keep backing up on him. It makes no sense, but I'm not going to complain about it.
And for the record,
the danger in that is you plan to triple T him, and then Clay finally gets hot, and then you have no answer again.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Clay's 3 that he made in the fourth quarter was a clutch shot, number 1, and 2, it basically took the game away for the Warriors. Yeah, you guys agree?
Yeah,
I think he had his best effort of the final so far, Klay Thompson tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's talk about Game 5 real quick. So let's just go around. Who do you think needs a step up?
I'll start off first. Obviously, we need Draymond to step up, but once again, I really think the person who could probably have the biggest effect on the game is Jordan Poole. I've been looking at it. I've been looking at all the games. It has surprised me how well Peyton Pritchard has guarded him. Like I really thought that we had a very good matchup when we went to the bench with him against Peyton Pritchard, and he has not taken advantage of it. He's had little spurts, but more often than not, he has not been able to sustain scoring sports, to penetrate, really effectively operate the offense or take advantage of the mismatches. Now, he has made some timely threes that has helped us win the 2 games that we have made. I mean, we won. But in our losses, he's been pretty much absent or downright atrocious. And that's who really needs to step up. Clay's been doing his thing. If we get a high 20 or 30-point a game from Poole, it's almost impossible for us to lose if everybody else plays the same. That's why I say got to step up is Jordan Poole.
Yeah. So speaking of Jordan Poole, I feel like if he didn't get that last foul out where Boston actually traveled, he was starting to warm up. I'm not gonna lie. I think he would have had at least a 22-point game if he didn't get pulled out because of that foul. That's that ridiculous foul.
What about you, Bashar?
Oh yeah. obviously Draymond. Draymond's the obvious one. I mean, he just needs to be the Draymond that was pretty consistent throughout this playoff run so far, up until this series came along. And I just want to touch on one thing because I forgot to mention it earlier. I don't know if you guys probably noticed it. There was a few times in this game where we played great defense, get the steal, and next thing you know, the team's just we have numbers on some of these breaks, and here we are launching 3-pointers and breaking them like crazy. When you have the 2-pointer, the 2-pointer, in my opinion, is a much better shot, higher percentage shot in that case, and we're just
that's what I was
no more
complaining
forced
about in game
3-pointers,
one.
please.
That was my exact complaint in game one.
Exactly.
I made the point earlier where a 3-point shooter, whoever it is, takes pump fakes. A guy gets in the air. There's nobody down low. Robert Williams is either out of the game or is guarding someone on the perimeter. He has 15 feet of daylight. Drive, go up for an easy layup, and just take the high road and just take the easy higher percentage shot. You're trying to get into these runs. Basketball is all a game about it's a game all about runs, and again, kind of a slower start, not as slow as it has been, but slower start. They ended up coming back with like an 8-0 run, getting back in the game, and then it was just back and forth. You got to be able to get the higher percentage shots when they're given to you. They're just relying too much on three. Curry had a couple there where he just kind of dribbling up, fast break, no one in front of him or one guy that he could easily shake and go up for a layup, maybe get fouled and one, something like that. And he just sits there and chucks from the top of the key. They need better shot selection. 43 3-pointers is too many. I know that's kind of where this game has gone now. But if the shot is open, you're moving the ball around, ball movement here, left wing, right corner, left corner, whatever, take the shot. But when you have a fast break and you just you're pulling a Tim Hardaway essentially, where he was notorious for driving, drops, and trying to hit the shot from the top of the air or whatever. If the layup is there, you take the layup. And I don't know how many times Draymond had a wide open layup and he would dish it back out to the 3-point circle. It just kills the damn shot. It's you're wide open. So go in for a
needs to get the foul
higher
call.
percentage. Just make sure you hold on to the ball. It's crazy.
That's why I wasn't surprised that he was taken out at certain times. His whole game is attack. If you're not attacking, then what good are you?
Tonight he took like the 2 threes. Took like 3 threes. He didn't make and just shot. His confidence was just shot for the rest of the game and just anymore.
Hey, I was gonna say too, because I brought this up too while we were watching the game. I told my dad, I was like, they need to stop taking the threes because they were just not going in. I was like, they need to do what, like I told you guys in text message in the group chat. I was like, they just need to go in, score more buckets in the paint, like they have been doing all playoffs. They were 7 of 24 in that first half. I mean, you'd think they would stop shooting the damn threes, right?
Yeah.
Much better second half, though.
And it's funny because the Warriors shot 34.9% from the floor, and Boston shot from the 3-point land, and Boston shot 39%. If you read that stat, you'd assume we were the losing team.
Absolutely.
It was the same amount of the same amount of threes made, but 4 or 5 less attempted by Boston. That was the only difference.
Right.
So that's why for me,
the rebounding advantage, 55-42.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Go ahead, Ward.
When we out-rebound them, we're in good shape. And when we get your 4 or 5 guys in double figures, we're in good shape. They actually had 4 guys in double figures tonight. And that generally, if you look at the 2 series going through, throughout the 2 games that they've won, it was like 5 guys in double figures. Here, they end up with 4. But the rebounding issues or advantage, the offensive rebound advantage as well. And then, as we're going to be saying for the next 3 days, Curry carried this team on his back for sure. And that was really the difference.
Yeah, Ward, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So for me, I think we're all saying the same thing. The spotlight's on Steve. The spotlight's on Coach Kerr. What are the rotations going to be like? What's Dre's minutes going to be like? Are we going to get Jordan Poole in those high leverage into the quarter minutes, last 3 minutes of the quarter, get him in the backcourt with Steph? What are we going to do defensively as opposed to like clogging up the paint? and not allowing so many easy buckets? Is he going to pull another rabbit out of his hat? Is he going to come back with the starting lineup? I'm really interested to see how they're going to attack the adjustments that Boston are going to come out. Boston's going to come out hungry and like I said, ready to put a lot of pressure on Steph. And I think if you're Boston, they're going to make a concerted effort to not let Steph go off like he did. So it's for me, it's the maestro, it's the chess pieces. What's the next move that Kerr has, because he does have the coaching experience, he does have that over Udoka, and that's one of the ways that we can really try to finish out this series is just with our experience. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at the brain trust. This is Mike Brown's last hurrah. This is Kenny Atkinson's last hurrah. This is why you spend this type of money on your coaching staff.
Right.
So what are we going to do? What's the chess moves to get this done? Because Monday night is it. Biggest game I think in our
It's a
history.
big game, yeah.
Yeah,
Expect Boston to come out hungry and aggressive.
More than anyone that KD was here for. And I think this championship for some of us would be more than 2015 because you have the Kyrie didn't play, the Kevin Love didn't play, you have that nonsense. This championship would matter more than I think any of those three. So
Gonna be the biggest of them all for sure.
For me, Monday night is the biggest game in Golden State Warrior history.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I agree with
I
that
would
because
agree with
like
that.
in 2015, yeah, it was the injuries and then they lost and then they got Kevin Durant and then people are like, oh, they needed Kevin Durant to win. This puts an end to all that
Always
shit.
always a narrative.
Yes.
They always put their little asterisk whenever it's
Also-
convenient for them,
It's also Steph Curry's legacy series to say, screw all that. I'm gonna win Finals MVP. He was already robbed in
Yes,
2015, but
yes.
this is his chance. So I agree. I think Monday night is
That is robbed.
the biggest game. I say Draymond Green still, and I think he's like the only answer just because they survived a game tonight where if you didn't know the outcome of the game, but I told you Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both scored at least 20 points, and Marcus Smart also got 18, and Draymond Green played terribly, you'd probably think they lose that game. Like if I were to just tell you that, even if Steph Curry scores a bunch of points, I don't think Marcus Smart's going to be scoring 18 tonight from here on out. Like that's just not going to happen.
No more for Oscar the Grouch.
Right, exactly. So if Draymond Green steps up, I think whatever Steve Kerr wants to do is probably going to work because the way that offense starts with Steph Curry, the defense starts with Draymond Green. Like he did step up when he was kind of used situationally late in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
If he's consistently that regular Draymond Green throughout the course of the game and injecting this team with energy throughout the course of 48 minutes, I think they're going to be fine with whatever Steve Kerr wants to do. It's when he's not showing up that makes it a lot harder for Steve Kerr to figure out what he can do because, shit, I have this all-NBA level defender who's not playing up to his level, and he's just a liability really on both ends at this point, more so on offense, but he's kind of a liability at this point. Who am I going to go to now? Because now you're looking at like Otto Porter, but if he's not hitting threes and he's not on, I'm not sure how much value he's giving you. You're looking at Kevon Looney,
maybe Damian
great
Lee.
rebounder, but
No, not Damian Lee.
Never.
He gives you
kidding.
value because
I'm kidding.
he gives you
That's
value
where-
Chioza.
playing.
I'm kidding.
Oh, Chioza. But that's where I call him chorizo.
Stop it.
But that's where if Draymond steps up, this all gets fixed. Like I'm not saying it's like okay, they for sure win if Draymond shows up, but if he shows up, all of that pretty much gets resolved because Steve Kerr is going to be able to do whatever he wants to do because
And he
he
doesn't
is
get
still he is still the third player in this core. And you can actually he was playing more than Clay in the first half of the year too when they were running the whole league this year. So he needs to be showing up. Like you're going like 2 out of your 3 of your core, and one of them's still trying to get his legs under him. You need that other guy to show up. If he's not showing up, Steph Curry could average, like I just pulled up the numbers he's averaging, and it's 2-2. Steph Curry, almost any other year, if he was averaging those numbers in the finals, we're probably sitting here talking about how they're about to wrap this thing up at Chase on Monday night. But that's not the case right now. So if he shows up, I still have it Warriors in 6 if he shows up. Otherwise, I see this probably more realistically going 7 games because I just don't trust Draymond Green to show up at this point. I don't believe it'll happen.
Hey, Shifty, I'm with you on that one.
We definitely need.
That's why you have to give the amount of props that we have to Andrew Wiggins tonight because he stepped up one of the biggest games of his entire career, I think, tonight. I mean, he just played out of his mind.
Yeah, just real quick. So speaking of Draymond Green, his mom tweeted out saying, "Please, people, stop asking me what's wrong with Dre. I don't know. Maybe this is a clone." Yo, where is the Draymond that helped us get here? I have never seen this either. So I just
Motherfuckers
thought
act like they
about
forgot
that
about
out.
Dre.
Vicious,
Well, if
bro.
mom's going at him, I expect a better effort for Game 5. We need
That's
Game
vicious.
2 Dre to show up. If Game 2 Dre shows up, it takes Boston out of their rhythm, it gets in their heads, and we'll be fine. But
Yeah.
if we have these last 2 games where he showed up, then it's going to be tight.
It's gonna be a gritty match. Yeah.
Gritty.
If I had to make like a Bay Area athlete comparison right now, I feel like Draymond Green in these finals, to me, feels like the way that Vernon Davis was in the last few years he was with the Niners. That's how it feels right now watching Draymond in these
Dang.
finals. So that's why I'm
He's
saying
gotta have
I
that
don't
New
trust him
Orleans
in this
Saints
series
game,
right
then.
now, man.
Or Draymond Green is the Oakland Raiders for the past 20 plus years.
I'm saying like
Really?
first year at Levi's
Stop.
Stadium.
I didn't
for
say
like
nothing.
first year at Levi's Stadium, Vernon Davis is what he feels
Yeah.
like to me right now.
Jesus.
I'm just hoping he doesn't take that Cam Chancellor type hit.
He may have taken it mentally for
Yeah.
the Boston fans, though.
Man, those Boston fans are rough, man. I do have to say.
Did you see that piece
sign?
of shit? The fucking
sign?
guy sitting in the front row,
Oh.
on the sidelines. What's his name? The one bite. Everybody knows the rules. The David
Barstool
Portnoy.
Sports,
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah. He was
Portnoy.
trying to cuss at. He was trying to cuss and yell at Draymond Green. I was like, oh my gosh, man, that pissed me off, dude.
So that's what you get to
You,
do.
you gotta block that shit out. It's the finals, and Boston fans are historically known throughout the sports sphere to be ruthless. Patriots fans have it. Red Sox fans are very notorious for it. Celtic fans, no exception. You got to block that out. This is the finals.
Yeah,
And it happens with every fan base too. Like I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna lie, I'm gonna be totally objective. I've seen the Warriors fans do every single thing that the Celtics have been doing this series. I mean, they were just throwing stuff on the TNT set in the series before this. Like it's not like the
that was to Charles.
No, but when I was at Game 7 in 2016, I don't know if it made it on air because I don't know if they were in commercial break at the time. But when LeBron went up for that dunk toward the end of the game and he got fouled and he was laying on the ground, his hand was hurting. Literally, the entire arena, just as loud as a "Let's Go Warriors" chant, was literally chanting "Fuck LeBron James" for like 2 minutes straight. So it's like, so the fact that they went to the post game to talk about like the Draymond Green chants, I'm like, come on, guys, like they've literally already done this. So you got to block all of that out and just put that energy that the energy that Draymond's putting into like talking about the fans and getting into scuffles with like people after the whistle. Put the energy into the way you play defense or to the way you attack the glass, and you'll be fine.
Y'all hear Mark Jackson's comment in tonight's game too?
I don't listen to that guy.
I try to not listen to Mark Jackson.
No, I thought he did a pretty good job tonight, actually. I do.
That dude still be trying to take credit. I coached Steph Curry for 3 years, bro. That was like 8 decades ago.
Hey, here's a drinking game when you're watching games on ABC. When you're watching games on ABC, a good drinking game is take a shot every time Mark Jackson says clear contact or mama, there goes that man. You'll be shit.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'd be dead.
Hey,
I would be dead.
Let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask each of you. You guys, this is the. You guys think that this is the worst broadcast, worse than TNT's broadcast?
Yes.
Yeah,
Without
I like
question.
TNT's broadcast
TNT
better,
is
but
better,
I really like Mike Breen. That's it.
Take Kevin Harlan over Mike Breen.
I love Kevin Harlan. I'm sorry.
Kevin Harlan.
No, yeah, I'll
I
say
like
Kevin Harlan
Breen,
too.
but I
I'm
love
saying-
Kevin Harlan.
I'm saying the only part of this broadcast I like is Mike Breen. That's it.
Yeah. Both Van Gundys are dumb, and Mark Jackson can be a little subjective at times. But I don't think I hate Mark Jackson as much as the rest of you. To be honest,
I'm all right with Mark Jackson.
I'm okay with him.
As far as Van Gundy, Stan is definitely
there
worse
goes
than
that
Stan.
man.
Hey, I am too, but the only thing that pisses me off is when he takes jabs at the Warriors because I think he's still salty that he got fired by the Warriors.
Well, see, that's the whole ESPN. That's the whole ESPN thing. They're all biased against the Warriors. I mean, what's that old Celtic / OKC guy that's on the First Take?
Kendrick
Kendrick
Perkins.
Perkins.
You
I
know
can't
he's
stand that
salty.
motherfucker.
You know he's salty.
I cannot stand him, dude.
I think he's more. I think he's more anti-Draymond than he is anti-Warriors because he gives a lot of credit to Steph Curry all the time. But I think he's more anti-Draymond than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what he has to say once he's on First Take again on Monday.
Well, Stephen A. did put it perfectly when he was talking about Draymond Green. I think it was this morning or maybe it was yesterday morning, but he was basically saying like Draymond is on the verge of costing this team 2 championships. And that's where he needs to wake up. Like he really hit on that because and that's why people are going to go at the podcast just because the dude clearly doesn't look focused and people are trying to see like, okay, well, this is not the Draymond Green we've known for the last, 8 years, almost a decade. What's different? And that's the only thing that's different. So people are going to point that out, whether it has any impact or not. Personally, like, I don't care that he has a podcast, but personally, like, you can't tell me that it doesn't cross his mind sitting there in a game when he's playing like shit. And he knows, like, he's sitting there on the bench, like, man, I'm going to have to talk about this in an hour. Like, there's no way it doesn't cross his mind at some point.
Yeah. We're going to be wrapping up soon right here. But before, I'm going to go over the formalities real quick. So if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. God, I just lost my thought right now. Okay, go over to Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, it's at GSW_podcast. Instagram, spelled all the way out, locked in GSW podcast. If you haven't yet already, we also have a Twitch. You could check us out on Twitch as well, twitch.tv, locked in GSW podcast. So once again, hit that like, subscribe button. We really appreciate it, guys. We're trying to get to at least 100 subscribers before the finals end. That'd be really awesome.
We're climbing.
So locked in GSW podcast is the YouTube page. We don't have an actual link yet because we have to hit 100 subscribers first. So that's that. But you guys have anything else going into Game 5? What do you guys expect? Do we need the same intensity that we saw tonight in Game 5?
Not the first quarter.
Yeah, we have
on fire.
We need a start.
Okay, I'm back now.
He'll show up again.
If we come out like Game 2, we should be fine.
Yeah, like I think Steph Curry's still going to show up, but to me, Game 5 is actually a huge Draymond Green legacy game. He doesn't need to go out there and get a triple-double, but dude needs to like earn like all those minutes back because right now he's got the quick leash. He needs to shut all that down in Game 5. If he's able to do that on Monday night and play like the Draymond we know that usually has shown up in the finals, the guy that used to be like a dark horse, finals MVP candidate type Draymond Green, they're going to go up 3-2 with Boston on their heels. That's a huge opportunity for Draymond to really try to help them put the nail in the coffin on these guys. Whereas if he doesn't show up, Steph Curry's going to have to try to bail them out again. He bailed them out tonight to make it an even series. It's a clean slate. The last 4 games do not matter for either of these teams now. It's a brand new series. It's best of 3. Put all that behind you. Just show up on Monday night the way you usually do.
I'd like. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Corey.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say I'd like to see a little bit better shot selection from Klay Thompson. He ends up with 18 tonight. I'd like to see him in the 20 to 25 point range. Take a little bit of pressure off of Curry. Wiggins, keep doing your thing. Draymond, just get back to the old Draymond that we have all learned to love over the tenure that you've been with this organization, and get more run from GP2 as well. And then Looney, who I think may be coming back into the starting lineup come on Monday. Just keep grabbing the boards and the putbacks, offensive rebounds, dish it back out with the reset of the 14 seconds, and come out firing, running, and take Boston completely out of their game early and have them try to play catch-up throughout the game. And I know I sound like a broken record because I'm saying this almost every game, but we're back at home. We're back with our fans, as rowdy and crazy as TD Garden. Let's make a statement here saying, all right, the first 4 games are fun, but now let's get down to business and knock them, punch them in the mouth a handful of times here. Yes. and just put them into a 15, 20-point hole, hopefully. Get on that run that Boston gave us in Game 3. or end up getting into like a crazy quarter like Boston had in game 1. Something where it doesn't matter what they do, they can't stop us. Come out, put up 30-plus in the first quarter. They held Boston to under 100 points again tonight, which is something that hasn't been brought up. Defense locked down, run out in transition, get easy buckets, rebound. Offensive rebounds are key, and get Boston into foul trouble. We should be okay, but we have to stick to our game plan. And we're not even close. We haven't even come close to seeing the Warriors play a full 48 minutes of basketball.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that in game 5. Punch Boston in the mouth, force Boston back home, having to win the last 2.
Corey touched on it too, as far as Klay Thompson and better shot selection. He's a guy that should be going in, taking 2-point jump shots when they're open, or layups when they're open.
Mid-range, yep.
You don't have to always attack with the 3. Mid-range game is good, and those shots are open. Take advantage of that.
Wiggins is also lethal from 15 feet. He hardly ever misses from inside the 3-point line.
Michael Wilborn actually talked about that too in the beginning of the game as well. I don't know if you guys saw that.
What do you think, Ward?
Changing of the guard, man. The young guys, JP. Like I said, I think we all want to see either a Moody or a Kuminga sighting. Who are the guys that are going to be foundational pieces for the next dynasty? This is your chance at home. You're going to sleep in your own bed Sunday night. You're going to be able to go through your walkthrough. They always say that the home team role players are always going to be able to step up. So I'm looking forward to that next Warrior great. We know what we're going to get from Draymond. I think we're going to get a good game from Draymond. We know we're going to get from Klay. Klay is heating up, as he has probably every series. The first 2 games of every series, this playoffs, he started slow and he's starting to pick up. We all know we're going to get the Game 6 Klay. Steph is amazing. The Loons, the GPs, the guys that can put themselves in a situation and never have to buy a drink in San Francisco again with a big game 5. Which one of those guys that Boston isn't going to be able to scout against is going to have a big game? I'm looking for GP. I'm looking for a kid who grew up probably rooting for this team. We all agree that even in his spot minutes tonight, they were impactful. I think he has a double-digit game for us. I think if he can shut down either White or
Brown or Tatum,
one of those guards to make it a tough night. If GP can make it a real tough night for one of those guys, because Boston's only going 7-8 deep, maybe. I'm looking for one of the others to be talking to someone at the end of the post game and be a factor. So I'm gonna put my money on Gary Payton II on Young Love to put a stamp on it and bring this home, because you win game 5 in a best of 6, best of 7. That's usually the money game. And so
I want to just touch up on Klay one more time. He went 7 of 17. He needs to be better than that. I know he got his 18 points, but let's get Klay to be shooting at least 50% from the field and just try to lock down on the defense a little bit more. But if you're Golden State defensively, Tatum is going to get his points. Brown is going to get his points. You need to make sure that the other role players are not going off. You need to be able to hold the other guys under 10 points the best way you can. White ends up getting hot because all of those damn shots were pretty much uncontested. You have to be able to lock in and force them into at least contested shots. Tatum's going to get some ridiculous shots. Brown's going to get some ridiculous shots. Doesn't matter how good you guard them. They're just going to get their points. It's fine. Give them the 50 points that they're going to combine for and have them try to figure out how they're going to get the other 50 to 60 points to be able to have to try to win these games. The Warriors are deeper. The Warriors have as good, if not a better defense than Boston. Prove it. Let's see what these guys are made of and force them into a game they're not comfortable playing. Because Boston's still being able to stay in the rhythm, relatively speaking. Get them out of that rhythm. Get them into spots, switches, defenders for Golden State being able to at least contest these Celtics shooters, the Whites and maybe Pritchard when he comes in, Williams, Trent Williams as well. He got into foul trouble early, so he wasn't really much of a factor tonight. But just punch him in the mouth and force Boston to play uphill for the rest of the game.
And I'll be damned if Al Horford has another game like Game 1.
You won't see that.
I want to say what's up to a surprise guest of mine, a friend of mine in chat. Says, "What's up, Bash? What up, Coach Ward?" Oh, he knows you, Ward, too. I didn't know that's my boy Alonzo. Known him for
That's
years.
so. I used to coach his son back in the day.
A really good friend of my brother's.
That's a good dude right there.
Rest in peace.
Tell somebody what's up. That's a good dude.
Oh yeah, I didn't know he knew you. That's crazy. Small world.
Small world, bro.
Hey,
but what should we do? I'm just hyped up for Game 5. Dictate the pace of the game, please, Warriors. Dictate the pace of the game.
Warriors basketball, not Boston.
Just real quick too, the Warriors have now won a road playoff game in 27 consecutive playoff series, extending an NBA record. The streak dates back to the 2013 NBA playoffs and coincides with postseason 10 years of Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. Just
who have now tied the Spurs 3 for most NBA final wins in 19.
They need 21 for the championship. Let's get it.
Right. That's the number.
Are you, Chris?
And then
go ahead, Brandon.
No, Chris, go ahead.
No, I mean, for Game 5, I'm just, I just want to see them dictate the pace, like Bashar was saying. It really feels like every game is so difficult just because they're playing Boston's way, and I do want them to try to make Boston to shoot themselves out of the game. That's pretty much what I did. I remember the 4.5 minute stretch. I think it was, I can't remember if it was like the third quarter. It was the third quarter of Game 2. I remember that third quarter stretch where they outscored Boston like 19-2. And if you look at, so from the 4:16 mark of the fourth quarter today, Jaylen Brown missed a 3, and then Jason Tatum missed a 3, and then Marcus Smart missed 2 threes, and then Al Horford missed a 3, and then finally made one. Like, you can kind of make them shoot themselves out of the game. I really want them to stop that really easy dribble penetration. It's those kickouts, and then that's when they get the fouls and the buckets at the rim, and Robert Williams is getting buckets underneath. So if they can just try to dare Boston to shoot themselves out of this game, I think they'll be fine. They're not going to do what they did in Game 1. That was historic. So they're just not going to do that. If you can dare them to play that style again, but like the way they did today, taking all those 3-pointers, I think you have a good chance of being able to dictate the pace because, like, for instance, trying to dare Marcus Smart into taking a bunch of shots would be really nice. He's not going to score 18 the next game. I really doubt it. Like, I think he's peaked. He's peaked at Game 3.
Getting a lot of fouls too.
And then he followed Game 3 with another 18-point game. I think he's really hit his peak for the rest of the series. I don't think he's going to have any better games than he's already had at this point. So
I think he was getting the line a lot more than he should have tonight as well. Got a lot of questionable calls.
Yeah, so just dictate the pace. Make them try to play the Warriors style basketball. It's going to be really hard to do just because of the personnel, but it's something that they're capable of doing. Like every single year that they've been a contender, they're always playing a team that's bigger, that's more physical, or is more athletic. Like it's a really common thing that's always happened. This isn't new. It's just this team is kind of different compared to other ones they have played in the past, but it's something they're more than capable of doing. If Draymond steps up, if Klay's hitting his shots and not like forcing the issue, if Jordan Poole is the sixth man that we saw him to be this year and the upcoming superstar, and if role players are just not necessarily be like hitting their shots, but like just playing their roles, no matter what it is. Like if it's Gary Payton playing defense, or if it's Otto Porter grabbing some key defensive rebounds, just everyone play their roles, they should be okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And also too, first player in NBA history to make 5+ threes in 4 consecutive final games. That's our boy Stephen Curry.
He's averaging 6.3 3-pointers a game right now.
Insane.
So that's awesome.
Crazy.
I'll take those odds.
6.3. First, making or attempting? Making. Yep.
Making.
Boston's in trouble if that continues.
Agreed.
Continue.
At 49%.
Yep.
Yep.
He was doing that in the unanimous MVP season too, just hitting at a ridiculous rate that no team could stop, especially third quarters.
He just needs to get those and ones.
Yes. Like those two that should have been. But whatever, it is what
For
it
game
is.
5, do you guys feel they should just do the normal starting 5, or do you guys think they should get creative again?
I think they go back to the starting 5 as
Go
I
back to
mentioned
regular
earlier.
starting 5.
Get Poole in there maybe at the 5 or 6 minute mark of the first quarter. Maybe give Clay a rest. But hopefully Draymond, like Chris has been yelling and screaming about here, he just has to just find that Draymond that he's made his Hall of Fame career over, and just give Boston as much trouble as possible, and then just try to stay out of foul trouble. But I think trouble is going to be a huge factor for the remainder of the series. Which team gets into foul trouble? The Warriors seem to be getting into foul trouble every single game. Draymond in games 1 and 3 fouled out, and he was able to. Kerr sat him enough tonight where he wasn't going to be able to get to that. But stay out of foul trouble. I think it was Poole and was it Wiggins or somebody else was at 4, but no one got to 5. So it was that was better. But pace of play. Run. Get Boston as tired as possible, where they're going to have to bring in bench players that aren't normally playing, and just because they're going to try to slow this down as much as they can. Outlet passes, dish out, wide open dunks. Do your thing.
I see them doing one of two things. One, probably just going back to the starting lineup. But the second thing I could see them doing if they don't go back to the starting lineup is kind of doing what they tried to do today by getting the offense going, except instead of starting Otto Porter, I could actually see them saying, let's try to see what happens if we throw Jordan Poole out there for a few minutes, take him out, put Looney back in, and then bring back Jordan Poole later in the quarter when Looney needs to sit with whoever else rotates in. I could see them trying that just because it would also allow you to, one, open things up more for Steph, like we were saying, but also it gives them opportunity to play Jordan Poole more and not take away from Steph Curry's minutes or Klay Thompson's minutes.
I would see them doing that more in Game 6 if they win Game 5, just because they have that little bit of buffer. This being Game 5 being the big pivotal game here that they have to win. If they lose Game 5, I think they're in trouble. I think whoever loses Game 5 is going to be in a world of hurt. It's going to have to end up coming back and winning the last 2. Warriors have to just protect home court here and just sustain home court for the remainder of this series. Even if they have to go out to Boston and lose to force a Game 7 next Sunday, it'll be out here. It's going to be the wildest, one of the craziest games I can guarantee you that any of us have ever seen come Game 7. But let's just worry about Monday's game here. And like I said, to come out firing, making sure that we get.
Yeah. Well, let's hear what Steph Curry had to say real quick.
No, I mean, it means everything knowing the sense of urgency we had to have tonight to win on the road and keep some life in the series, get a home court advantage back, and try to create some momentum our way. It was a hard-fought win. I think our first quarter really set the tone. Even though we were down 1, there's night and day difference between Game 3 and Game 4, how we came out defensively. And that just gives you enough life to kind of withstand some rough patches. And then, find some runs. We get some stops, get out in transition, guys get involved. And, you give yourself a chance to win it down the stretch. So, proud of everybody in terms of our physicality, our focus. Perseverance throughout the game. 2-2 is way better than 3-1 going home. So, job well done tonight.
Mic's off again.
All right.
Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Mr. 43-point Steph Curry himself.
MVP.
We're going to end it here right now. But looking forward to Game 5. That is coming up on Monday. So we'll be on again for Game 5 post-game show. So if Ward and Dave, you guys want to join again, let us know. I'll send you the link again.
If anybody wants to join.
Yeah, no problem. And then whoever else wants to be on, we go ahead and do that too. But till Monday,
Till Monday.
Yes, sir.
We'll
All right.
see
Good game.
Monday, Dub Nation. Go
Dubs and
Dubs.
6.
Go Draymond.
Dubs and 6.
6 for sure. For sure.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.